hereby proclaim Saturday, August 9th, 2014 as Julian Doctor Day. We urge all residents to make known their appreciation for his devotion to the town.
And changing all of our streetlights across town to LEDs, which not only saves in energy usage, but also in maintenance because they last so long.
Welcome to Jim Adams, our new superintendent of the Ashland Schools.
Thank you for having me.
Hello, and welcome to Around the Clock. I'm Yolanda Greaves. This is our August taping, and you will notice I do not have Mark Jewett sitting next to me.
No, you don't.
I don't.
You don't.
This is Joe Mignani, one of our other Board of Selectmen members. Mark was not able to be here today as we taped. Joe, thank you for filling in and joining me today.
Well, thank you, Yolanda, for inviting me and being your guest host. I appreciate being here. It's nice to be in front of the camera again.
Yeah, you do it so well. It comes naturally to you.
A lot of time and effort with David Irucci and Badgers many years ago.
Good. Well, we have a great show lined up for you today. We are bringing in Tony Schiavi, our town manager, and we are also going to be talking to Jim Adams, the new superintendent of the Ashland Public Schools. If you recognize that name, it's because he was the high school principal and he's now moved into the superintendent. We'll also be taking you around the town to show you everything that's going on in Ashland and getting ready for the new school year, and then we'll be wrapping up. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with our Selectmen's Update. Welcome back to Around the Clock. Joe and I are now going to talk about what happened at our last Selectmen meeting. It happened on August 3rd, and currently there's no Selectmen meeting scheduled until September 3rd. So it's going to be a little while, but this show will be airing Tuesdays and Thursdays from now until, hold on, I got to look at my notes. It's going to be airing until the 9th of September. So you'll get caught up on everything if you watch us a few times. So Joe, we had a very full meeting.
We did.
We started early. We started at 6, and we were still sitting there at 10 o'clock.
Yes, we were. And thank you for starting early, because we'll probably still be there.
Well, it was one of those things, you know, as you set the agenda, you look at, and it's because we were only having the one meeting, I knew we needed to get a lot of stuff done. We signed the warrant for the primary elections happening September 9th. We also signed and opened the town warrant meeting.
Yep.
So
we did.
The town warrant has been opened for town meeting, which will be happening November 17th. So be aware for that. We had a couple of presentations.
We did.
Those are always the fun things. We got to present to Julian Doctor, who is the outgoing president of the Ashland Lions. Support and enhance the organization as a whole, including establishing the Leo's Club several of years ago, which has a membership of approximately 20 high school students. And whereas Julian's efforts to create, in conjunction with the Ashland Police Department, a drug take-back program has been well received by all who take advantage of this great program. And whereas Julian has also helped to support many of the wonderful programs that are offered to the seniors in our community, including the senior prom and the senior breakfast. Julian also delivers meals to the shut-ins once a month. And whereas Julian continues to help out in fundraising efforts by providing food at the summer concerts, selling Christmas trees during the holidays, and collecting tolls during the annual Toll Road fundraiser and working the meat shoots when needed. And now, therefore, we, the Selectmen of the Town of Ashland, do hereby proclaim Saturday, August 9th, 2014, as Julian Doctor Day. We urge all residents to make known their appreciation for his devotion to the town of Ashland, and we wish him good health and good fortune. And we also gave a presentation to Enzo Scalora, who has left Ashland as a resident, and he was the head of the Ashland Redevelopment Authority, and a real big push behind the whole Pond Street
126
program.
project.
Yeah.
Two wonderful gentlemen who've put a lot of time and effort into it, into their individual groups that they belong to. And can't say enough about Enzo's enthusiasm
Right.
and his love for what he was doing. And you can say the same about Julian Doctor.
Yeah.
The same way with Julian. Both very quiet individuals personally, but when they get out there, they know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
wish them well.
Yeah. Yeah. Ashland's loss is Hopkinton's gain in regards
Yeah,
to
again,
Enzo.
yeah,
So.
it is. It is,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but yes.
And then we had an update of the MWRA water connection from David Minugian, our DPW director. So we're looking at putting in a permanent water connection with the MWRA through Southborough. And this was the first update that we got, and we'll be planning some extra public meetings for people to come and listen and ask questions
Right.
just about that connection. And then it'll be presented, because it'll have to be voted on at town meeting.
Town meeting. I don't everyone's going to get all upset. Oh, we're going in the MWRA. No,
Right.
this is for an emergency basis situation. So
Right.
when the time comes that we need that extra water, we go through a drought period like we did 4 or 5 years ago. The connection will be all ready, and all it is just pushing the button and going and getting it done. So don't jump over the barrel saying that, oh no, we're going to the MWRA on a full-time basis. That's not what we're doing.
Right, and what I think made sense to me was, by putting in a permanent connection and having the ability to turn the switch on when necessary, was actually going to be more cost effective to the town, because every time you have to do an emergency connection, it's more expensive. And we've
Right.
already done two. So, and that's just a beginning conversation, so there'll be a lot more opportunity for people to talk about it and ask questions, and then it'll have to get voted on at town meeting.
Right.
Then we had a very nice presentation by the Downtown Collaborative talking about some possible new signs to do in downtown to signify that it's downtown. And I think it was the first steps. I think they were interesting. I liked the way they looked.
The outlay that they had for the Main Street area was very, very eye appealing. I
Yes.
thought anyway, and very conducive to Old Ashland.
Right.
If you want to refer
Right.
it to something. So I thought the presentation was very nice, and I believe they said $275,000.
Yeah, pricing. I was
I thought it was gonna
impressed
be
with
more.
how inexpensive it would be. I mean, it's certainly money we would have to spend, but an inexpensive way to sort of update the look of downtown.
Right.
So that was good. So we'll look at the next steps for that. We had a request. There's a new arts festival going on that's called the Dragonfly Festival. It's happening August 23rd down at Marathon Park and
Mill Pond.
Mill Pond. Yeah. Yeah, so we approved that. So if you're looking for something to do, go to the farmer's market in the morning of the August 23rd, and then you can go to the arts festival. It's from 4 p.m. to dark, and there'll be music and arts and crafts. And
Be like Ashland's version of Firewater.
there we go. There we go. We talked a little bit about some of the encroachments at Warren Woods. It was interesting seeing the map and the properties that are still encroaching on it, and then some that have already cleaned up, so that
Right.
was good to hear about. Then we talked about creating a new committee. So take the work that was done with the committee that we were on earlier this summer and sort of put a plan in place for what we want to do with those 16 acres in the front.
In the front.
And get some good public input on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we had a request. Someone an Eagle Scout, Ben Barrett, would like to improve the corner of Cherry and West Union.
Right.
So we've approved that.
Yes, we
it's
did.
always great when these Eagle Scouts come forward and they do these projects that benefit the town. We've seen it in the town forest. We've seen it at Warren Woods.
Yep.
So it'll be nice.
Seen it at the community
At
center.
the community center.
Yep.
So it'll be nice to see in that very visual and place that a lot of people drive by on 135 to
To
get
beautify
that
it
corner
would be
clean. There you go.
it'd be eye appealing for everybody that
Yes.
goes by
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. We had a new police officer get appointed. Officer Alexander Keefe was a transfer from Framingham. We keep just bringing those Framingham police officers
do.
over.
Alexander has a tie with Ashland. He was part of the Explorers program for many years, and he was very instrumental helping Ashland Day with the holiday lighting series that we did every year. as he was growing up and going through the program. So he got to start with the Explorers, and I know that Bob Gemma was a big mentor on his part, and I think he may have even brought that up during the presentation.
Yeah.
So I wish him luck. He's a nice young man, and I think he fits in Ashland's department very well.
Good, good. We also had Peter Cunningham was named as a full-time dispatcher. Leo Doucette, who people know as an auxiliary officer, has been appointed as a part-time crossing guard.
Yes, Paula retired, and
Okay.
she's going to be used as a spare. And we had talked about this a while back, and Leo says, well, maybe I should try it. And he has experience, directing traffic and doing
Right.
things of that nature, so he'd fit right in. So apparently Chief Davis thought the same thing, and
Right.
they hired him, so it's good. So you'll see Leo out there at the corner of Homer and Main Street and Summer Street.
Okay.
That's going to be his position.
That's going to be his spot.
That's his spot,
Okay.
yeah.
And then we had the reappointment of all of our auxiliary officers.
Yes,
and
that's
we have
a yearly.
8 now.
Yes, almost up
That's-
to a full contingency, which is nice to see again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
some
they're all great people.
some young gentlemen are in there.
Yes.
That's nice to see
Yeah.
too. Good. And then we had some gift acceptances, and we announced the opening of our grant, our BAA grant
Grants.
for the fall. So grant applications are now being accepted. They are being accepted through September, and then we'll be giving out grant funds, probably our second meeting in
In
October,
October, right.
once we've looked at all. And so you can go to the website and get those applications if you'd like. We gave Tony the authorization to extend our water ban if necessary. And unfortunately, we are in a stage 1 water ban. I don't know, I didn't get to,
I wanted to ask him earlier.
yeah, we should think of asking him, but we
Yeah.
might, if we forget, to see how the rain helped us with that.
Right.
Yeah,
We did get several inches of rain, so
we did. I know my pool filled up, so.
I didn't mind. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And then the other big discussion during the night was we did a lot of our reappointments to boards. So what happens is most positions are for 3 years, and people send in their talent bank forms, but if they've been on a position for a while, a lot of times they get reappointed. So we did all kinds of reappointments. We do have some vacancies, so if you're interested, you can go to the website, look at the vacancies that are there. I know Historic has vacancies, Open Space and Recreation has vacancies,
Affordable housing.
affordable housing, and
one or two
the capital improvement.
committee, right.
There's a few other ones, so go to the website if there's anything you're interested in, put in a talent bank form. We'll work with the chairs of those different committees, and we'll look to bring some people before us at our September 3rd meeting.
Always looking for new blood.
Yes, new volunteers, new people to come in and help us out. Some of the other things that we talked about we'll save for when we're talking, when we have Town Manager Schiavi on a little bit later in the show. One of the big announcements, and it wasn't on the agenda,
No.
was Mark Jewett, who usually sits here with me, and that's not why he's not here today, but Mark Jewett did hand in his resignation as a selectman for the town of Ashland. He and his wife are selling their house here in Ashland, and you have to live in town to be able to be on the Board of Selectmen. So we will be having a discussion as to whether or not we have a special election in November, or if we keep the seat open. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to reach out to us, either here at ashlandaroundtheclock@gmail.com or through our Board of Selectmen addresses. And if you have any thoughts on whether or not we should keep it just with 4 or put that 5th one in place.
Right.
And if we did anything, it would be as of November. So.
Right, with the state election.
Right, we'd try to tie it into the state election if we can do that. We don't want to cost the town more money.
Any more money,
No.
correct. No.
Okay,
Which is
it was
great.
a full meeting.
It was a very full meeting. And then we went into an executive session
Right.
as well after that.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was a long night. But
Yeah.
we got an awful lot done.
We did, which
We got
was
an awful
good.
lot done, and it was paramount to the fact that we lost a good individual on the board.
Yeah,
And again, very energetic, had a lot of great ideas, so had a nice vision in town of what Ashland should be, could be, and probably will be.
Right.
And I just wish Mark and his wife and his family the very best.
Yep.
Wherever they find home.
I don't expect we're not going to see him.
Oh, I'm sure.
We won't be seeing him at the selectman table, but otherwise I'm sure he'll still be
we'll
involved
be
in
around.
town,
I'm
so.
sure that Ashland Ale House and other locales, we'll find him at or run into him at some point in time, I'm sure.
Okay, well, thanks. That is our selectman update, and stay tuned, and we will be back with our town employee, Anthony Schiavi. We'll be right back. Hereby proclaim Saturday, August 9th, 2014 as Julian Doctor Day. We urge all residents to make known their appreciation. Welcome back to Around the Clock. Joe and I are happy to have our town employee for the day, and it is Anthony Schiavi, our town manager.
Good morning.
Good morning. Tony, thank you for joining us today, and I think we have a lot of things that you're going to be talking to us about and updating the community on.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've been here, so a lot of
has.
activity. You know, we got through our Maytown meeting very successfully, and a lot of great things came out of that, including our first, sort of new budget, our outcomes-based budget. So with a very modest increase in our budget, less than 3%, we made some great service enhancements, improvements. And so now that the new fiscal year has started, we've already started, processing those, not the least of which is our library is now open all day on Friday, so that's a great benefit that's coming from the meals tax that we passed and was going to start in the beginning of this fiscal year, as well as hiring a volunteer coordinator for the senior center, so that process is moving along. We're in the process of putting out a offer letter to hire an energy manager. That was through a grant that we got. That person will help us with our Amoresco performance contract, which was approved at town meeting to bring great energy savings to the town. But they'll also be working on a lot of the educational aspects as well as other energy type of projects and initiatives that we'd like to start. So I think that's a great position. It's a part-time position, but I know it's going to have great positive impact. One that really, as the savings come in, really starts to pay for itself as we work through this program and through the grant, so we know that's going to be a great asset for us to have. We're also in the process of getting ready to interview a junior engineer, which will help not only in the Department of Public Works, but also in our planning department as well. And again, that'll help to free up some of the time for us to do some strategic planning in both of those areas and again, really provide a great benefit back because we know there's a lot of activity around planning and development, but also just the amount of work that our Public Works has on their plate, but we want to be able to also plan out for the future as well.
So just to remind people that are watching and maybe they weren't quite as involved with town meeting, what is Amoresco and how are we using them here in town?
So Amoresco is an energy service company, and so we decided to go enter into a performance contract, energy performance contract. They did a investment grade audit, which looked at across all of our town facilities and where we could make investments in savings in energy, everything from street lights to changing boilers to interior lighting upgrades and changes, each of which would end up saving in overall energy costs. And so the town meeting approved us to enter into a contract with Amoresco. Right now we're finalizing, based on the investment grade audit, at the projects that we want to move forward with, and we're actually now negotiating the final aspects of that. Hope to have that signed very soon. It's just being reviewed. Once that happens, then we go into a year-long construction period where they'll make all these improvements over the course of that first year, and then we start garnering all the savings that come with that. Interestingly, we also got a competitive Green Communities grant recently. Hopefully folks know about that, at $250,000, which is the maximum amount. That'll be a capital investment towards this project and the performance contract, which will actually help essentially to save $250,000 that would have come from the town. So that's going to be a great capital investment there to work on changing all of our streetlights across town to LEDs. Which not only saves in energy usage, but also in maintenance because they last so long, and really a great investment for the town to do that.
That's great. And they're a lot brighter too.
Excuse me?
They're a lot brighter too.
They are, and they're actually adjustable, so depending on where you actually put them, some you could have set up based on the area. If there's an area where you want higher visibility, you can actually dial up the lumens, so to speak. In other areas where you don't necessarily need it so bright, you can actually tone them down a little bit, and that's another great benefit is they're actually adjustable.
And aren't they also a little more focusable?
Yes.
So that you're focusing them down and you're not getting as much of what they call the light pollution up?
That's correct, and not only focus, but it's a different kind of light too, and I think it's, folks, once they get used to it, and there's a number of communities all around us that are doing the same type of thing, and you can really notice the difference when you look and see, and then after a while, you don't even really notice they're there until you look up and you can actually tell it's an LED.
Yeah, good.
Well, we're talking about energy savings, if you don't mind me.
Go right ahead.
Yolanda. Some people get confused with Amoresco and the project that Solar Flare in town is doing right now. Can you give a little explanation as to what Solar Flare's project is?
Sure.
So people have a better understanding.
Absolutely. So the Amoresco performance contract is related to saving energies for town buildings, schools, and town government facilities or utilities that the town pays for, like streetlights. The Solar Flare project, the Solar Challenge that's currently going on, is an initiative from the Sustainability Committee supported by the town, where Solar Flare was selected as the company to go out and promote solar energy for homeowners across town, and there are 5 different levels in that Solar Challenge program, and as more individuals and residents sign up for the program, the lower the actual cost. So you don't necessarily have to be the last person to sign on to get the lowest cost. And once that's determined what level we get, and we're at, I think, level 4 right now, everybody gets that reduced price. So we've had great response to that program, and it runs through, I think, the beginning of September.
I think it's September 15th, and the gentleman from Solar Flare, Brian, I believe it is, was at the farmer's market the other day, and we're at level 4. We're halfway to level 5, and I guess they've thrown in a level 6, and if we get to level 6, they're actually going to donate a
free system.
solar installation to one of the town buildings.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah,
Yep.
great. Yeah, and it's a great company. As you know, we sort of recruited them from their prior facility in Framingham, and they've set up their headquarters here in Ashland, which is even greater to have a program like this supported by a company that's invested in our town.
Right, local business, supporting local people and
Right.
helping us all with energy savings.
Absolutely. The other piece of that's not in the energy performance contract, but the town is now switching all of our phone systems over to what's called voice over IP. Some people have something similar to that in their home through Vonage and,
Right.
and those type of things. It's going to actually save the town tens of thousands of dollars. Not only do we find that we had phone lines that we weren't really using, but the cost of those lines, when you add up how much it costs for each of the lines compared to what the voice over IP system will cost, is going to be a tremendous savings for the town, as well as making our phone system much more flexible. For instance, the schools have a lot of employees, and they would have to move phone lines and phone numbers around as teachers and administrators changed offices. That cost a lot of money. Now it's simply walking up to a voice over IP phone, putting in your code, and now that becomes your phone with your phone number literally right there. And so we're going to save a tremendous amount of money in line charges, tremendous amount of money in maintenance costs, and,
Yeah.
and those type of things. So another great way for us, as I mentioned last year, that we're looking internally first in every bit of our operations, no matter how big or how small, to make sure that we're doing things as efficiently and as inexpensively as we can, but still being able to accomplish our mission. So.
And it sounds like since we brought on Eric Heiderman, who is now the facilities management for the whole town.
Yes.
So there's a lot more joint looking at use of facilities and costs that the whole town pays for, and it's not just the schools and then general government.
They're actually
it's a
connected
real
together.
joint connection.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And as you know, the board and the school committee, we got a little bit tied up in a lot of activities we're doing, but we still have on our plate to look at a more permanent type consolidation
Right.
of the public facilities department. I think really with an eye towards what I would see is, allowing the schools to concentrate on their core mission of education, and the town, its core mission of service delivery and that sort of thing. So the energy manager will actually work for Mr. Heidemann.
Good.
In the facilities department, so he'll be a direct report to him as he, takes on much of that responsibility for the energy stuff.
So you and Michael have been in place a little over a year. It's been a challenging year. You've got a lot done, but I know you. What are you looking forward to in the next year? What are your new initiatives? I mean, you've already talked about a couple of them, but I have a feeling there's more out there.
Yeah, certainly the initiatives I just talked about were things that we planned for this fiscal year. Some additional ones are looking at economic development. We have our 126 project that we're still pushing forward. So we have transitioned from the urban design firm, the Cecil Group, has now handed off the project to Green International, which is the engineering firm that we hired. And so over the course of the next several months, they'll be working the actual engineering design, and then we'll have interaction with Mass DOT to keep that project on track so that we can eventually get that put on the Transportation Improvement Program. So that's a big project for this year. We're also continuing to investigate the feasibility of solar on the landfill still. We plan on having some public meetings here probably in the fall time frame prior to town meeting. We've entered into an agreement with Amoresco to actually do some of that design work so that we actually have something more definitive to show residents about what this particular facility may look like and what the benefits are to the town. They actually were able to, there was a study done several years ago that looked at about 750 kilowatts. Amoresco feels they can get up actually closer to a megawatt of electricity out of that project. So
And this is the Howe Street landfill
That's the Howe
that
Street.
last year was taken out of the solar overlay district at town meeting.
correct, so we established a solar overlay district, yet we took off of the warrant. We did not vote on actually adding it to the overlay district yet until we actually get a little bit further along in developing some of the pre-steps about if we do add a residential project to the overlay, that it would then be subject to the site plan approval process.
Be a special permit,
And
right?
special
Yeah.
permit, right. So that there is the technical aspects, but also some of the other nuances get looked at through a site plan approval, a special permit process,
Right.
yeah. So we'll look at all those things. So that's a big project for this year. Obviously, with some of the junior engineer coming on board, we have a lot of activity looking ahead towards our roads program. We put a very ambitious road program together for this year, not just using our Chapter 90 funding, but also our own capital money towards that, which, speaking of that, the Capital Improvement Committee was renamed from the Municipal Improvement Committee to the Capital
Right.
Improvement Committee, and we've now have Eric Heidemann as a permanent member of that committee. We
Good.
do have a vacancy that should be advertised for that as well, since we brought it from 5 members to
To
7
7.
members. So there'll be one vacancy as Eric filled the other one. But we're well at work right now in developing not only the FY16 capital plan, but the 5-year follow-on plan after that. So that's something that is, we're hard at work at right now, so that as we get to town meeting next year, we have more than just the 1-year look. We'll have a 5-year look as well. And then once we have that under our belt, then we start to look out a little bit further. It gets a little fuzzy, but we'll start looking out even
Right.
further from a capital perspective. So that team is working well together and making some good progress. So I would expect that in the next month or so, we will actually have the capital improvement policy ready to present to the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the School Committee, which is again part of our effort to have joint policies surrounding the financial reserves, which has been signed, the debt management policy, which is
Right.
signed, and now to round out the 3-legged stool is now to have the capital improvement policy accepted by the Board, the Finance Committee, and the School Committee.
Great.
So-
Okay, well, you got a busy year ahead,
We do,
but
yep.
thank you for taking the time and coming to speak with us. And
Yeah,
we
did
look-
you want to talk about vacancies? So we do have the vacancies
Right.
advertised. So
Okay.
anybody that's interested in any of the vacancies that are appointed by the Board of Selectmen, it's up on our website. Certainly if they look in the Board and Committee section, it should be on WACA-TV, as well as we hope to get an
Okay.
article in the paper soon to get the word out to everybody that we're accepting talent bank forms through August 26th. And then we'll present any appointments to the board on our September 3rd meeting. So that'll be
Right.
good to have that. And for folks that may not know, we did open the town meeting warrant for the fall. So we'll be accepting notices of intent for warrant articles up through September 10th, except for citizens petition ones. We have to take those much further on in the
Right.
process. But for all the normal ones, September 10th is the deadline for that.
yeah, good. Yeah, we'll have we talked about it during our Board of Selectmen update. so-
Okay, great.
But thank you for bringing it up again.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Tony.
again for coming by, Tony.
Thank you for having me.
Stay right there, and we'll be right back.
Great.
Hereby proclaim Saturday, August 9th, 2014 as Julian Doctor Day. We urge all residents to make known their appreciation. And we are back, and we have a new town employee, He's not really new to the town, but he's in a new position. Welcome to Jim Adams, our new superintendent of the Ashland schools.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here,
Thanks,
Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming, and congratulations on the
Thanks.
new position. And
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
What do
Day
you got
5
ahead of
today,
you?
right? Day 5. So I keep coming back. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It's day 5, and it's been enlightening, really, in the first week, and working through transitions not only from into the superintendent's role, but at the high school as well.
So before we get into what you're doing,
Sure.
what made you want to move into the superintendent position here in Ashland?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, this is starting my 6th year here in Ashland. I've worked really hard throughout my entire career to get to a position where I could be a superintendent and wanted to be a superintendent. I didn't want to leave Ashland, and honestly, this would have been my 5th superintendent in the 6 years that I've been in Ashland.
Yeah.
And I'm committed to the district long term. And to me, when I look at our staff, I look at our students in the community, I believe they want that too. They want someone who's going to invest their time and energy in the community. And that's what's exciting to me. So when the opportunity arose, I said, now's my time. I believe we've done some really good things at the high school, but now it's time to move forward and see what we can do in the district, and provide that longevity and stability that we really, really need. So
Okay,
So
so
that's
you
really
said
why.
day 5.
yeah,
So what are some of the first things that you're looking to do?
I've actually started meeting with people. It's sort of the process of looking at an entry plan is interesting when you move into a new district. I have an entry plan looking at it from a different lens. I know the community very well. I know the principals. Obviously you folk,
Right.
Tony, Mr. Schiavi, he and I have worked together. So it's really starting to build those relationships, though, and meeting with our union representation. And that was the first thing I did. Actually, on Monday morning, my first meeting, Michelle Smith and I met. She's the president of the Teachers Union. Building and forging relationships is really the key for us to be successful as an entire district. So it really has been about meeting lots of people. Next week, I have the chief of police, fire chief, Mr. Schiavi. So it really is about starting that process and seeing what we can do as a school district to partner with the community. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
And school starts?
August 26th, the 25th, next Monday, or a Monday from coming up, as teachers come back for our annual first day of professional development and getting into the classrooms. And as you know, we've had some roofing projects this summer. So at Warren in the middle school, where teachers typically might be coming in throughout the summer to work in their classrooms, it's been shut down pretty much. So,
okay.
we want to be cognizant and thoughtful of teachers to get them in their classrooms. So.
Speaking of roofing projects, how are they going?
They're going well. I believe the most recent update is that the middle school is pretty well done. Some tacking some things down. Blessing, honestly, the rains that we had this past week were actually a blessing.
To test stuff.
To test out, we found some leaks, and while the company's still here, you can fix those.
Right.
The Warren School, I think, as of yesterday, we're still a little behind. We had a lot of schools were actually doing roofing projects this summer. Keefe, right around the corner as well. So the vendors were struggling keeping up with supplies.
Oh, wow.
So it put us behind a little bit. It will not affect our teaching and learning. It will not affect students. Right. So it's just the process will take a little longer than we had hoped.
Yeah, as we talked about in our selectmen update, the fact that Eric had come to us to get permission to do work on Sundays,
weekends, yeah.
so that things could be caught up and get done on time.
Yeah,
so.
and we've done that before with the schools, obviously, with the Fields project.
Right.
We did the exact same thing. We want to be, again, conscious of the community members and working on the weekends, but obviously keeping it on time and getting the projects done.
Yeah, more important that the schools are ready for when the kids are coming there, so that they're safe and
exactly.
not worry about building materials and things like that.
And I believe that'll be the case. We're not worried about that piece of it. It's just the finalizing of the projects.
Well, you have a good core of employees up there that will make sure the school will be ready.
Absolutely.
And it'll be another grand first day for everybody.
Yeah, the buildings are in great shape.
So what are some other changes that people can see? Immediate changes first, and certainly there'll be some changes at the high
Sure.
school, and then any other long-term that you can foresee at this point?
Yeah, I don't, changes, I think what you'll notice differently with me is that I'm a very visible individual. I will be in schools, parents will, and students will know who I am. That's how I operate. And some would say, well, you're moving to the superintendent's level, you'll never have time to be in the schools. It's about priorities. It's about what you value. At the heart of, my beliefs are being in schools with kids. That's why I'm in this business. So I think the elementary staff will get to know me a lot better, and the community will get to see me opening doors for kids and greeting kids off the buses, and that won't just be a one-day thing. It's something that I'm invested in long-term doing with our kids. No real immediate changes. Our entire admin team is coming back.
Good.
So that's
good.
First time in a lot of years as well. So there's some stability there.
Yes.
Obviously, working closely with Assistant Superintendent Duran and our school committee will be at the forefront of my obligations and making sure that as we connect with the town, that, as I said before off air, forging relationships. That's the most important thing. Immediate change at the high school. Obviously, Ms. Kelly St. Coeur, who was one of our assistants to dean, will be taking over at the high school as interim principal for the year, and we'll be trying to fill her position and go from there. So exciting. We have a lot of new staff, teaching staff.
Right, because you had a number of retirements at the high school.
Number of retirements. We have retirements at all the schools and people moving on. And so I believe the principals are still wrapping up hiring as we speak this week. We actually just had a teacher take a job in another town.
Oh, wow.
A full-time position where they were not full-time in Ashland.
Okay.
So now Mr. Kyra at Warren is saying, okay, what do I do? I need to get somebody. So yeah,
Oh, good.
exciting.
Good.
A lot of the comments that you made to the school board and even just now, you remind me an awful lot of a former superintendent who was idolized by a lot of people here, and that was Barry Ruthfield. And everything that you said about what you want to do and what you're going to do, I visualize Barry sitting here.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have to tell you, it's...
Those are shoes that I don't know if
Well, you know
anyone can
what?
fill.
No,
I
that's a
understand
tough
that,
one,
but
Joe.
your commitment,
Yeah.
you talked about a long-term commitment, and there hasn't been that in this position for some time. And that's where you talk about stability being formed and having relationships formed. Well, you can't do it in a year or two.
Right.
You have to do it over a progressive number of years.
Right.
And I think the way you're going about it is wonderful.
Right.
And
Well, thanks.
I'm very happy that you're on board as a superintendent.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Ruthfield is someone, while I wasn't here,
Right.
I did get to know through my staff, honestly. I've met him a number of times.
Yeah.
And to hear how they idolized him as a staff. And that says a lot when your teaching staff is
Oh,
saying how
yeah.
much they respect the leadership. And another person was Ralph Olson, who was the principal
Right.
years ago.
Absolutely,
Yes.
and
A
he's the
very
same way.
visual. So those are two names that, again, I don't know them well, and I wouldn't pretend to be able to fill their shoes, but to be mentioned in that breath with them and what it meant to this community,
Right.
that says I believe I'm doing something well and that we're moving in the right direction.
Like you said, a lot of teachers, if you walk in a classroom and sit down, that's wonderful.
Right.
That's what needs to be
Right.
done.
Right.
Right.
You're on hands, and that's...
Well,
To me,
yeah,
it's
it's good and bad. I told my staff the other day, I told the principal, I said, listen, sometimes you're gonna look at me and say, oh, it's great, he's in our building all the time. Other days, you're probably gonna go home.
And say, I wish you didn't show up today.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But they know I'm invested in their schools too, that I'm going to be there.
Right,
So,
and I think for the town, that's very important, as Joe
Yes.
said. Not only has there been a number of superintendents over the last 6 years, but there's been a lot of change. I mean, every single building has had a new principal in the last 6 years. I
Right.
mean, I remember when I was on school committee, it had been very stable, and then as I left, different things changed, and it was because of timing. No, no bad reason, but either people retiring or other opportunities.
Right.
And you need to applaud people for that. So it's nice that you personally have made this commitment. As you said, the people in the community know you, And I mean, I know from my own experience having a daughter at the high school when you were there, you probably won't be doing any more jump starting of batteries as superintendent.
I might, you never know. You never know. You know, I mean, it's sort of, I also liken it to, you have to be willing to do things that other people, you know, that you're asking people
Other
to
people
do.
to do, right.
And whether it's going out in the starting a battery, whether it's helping the custodial staff hang windows.
Right.
Those are things that are valuable and that are important. And as long as it all goes back to what's best for kids, and hopefully that's what the community will notice with us in the decisions that we make, is that the school committee's 100% committed to doing what is best for our kids.
Right.
And my role is to make that vision come true. And it's exciting. I mean, listen, I mean, people have said, geez, can you wipe the grin off your face? And I'm like, if you've known me for 5 years at the high school, no, it's constant.
Right.
That's
It is
who I am.
constant.
Right,
Yep.
yeah.
So it'll be fun.
Good, and we'll look to have you back in maybe
Love
6
to.
months. You can
It'd be
give us
great.
an update on how things are going, and
Fantastic.
we'll take it there. Well, thank you for coming
Oh, my
by.
pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good luck in the new position
Thanks.
and with the start of school.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Stay
Jim.
tuned, and we'll be right back. Hereby proclaim Saturday, August 9th, 2014 as Julian Doctor Day. We urge all residents to make known their appreciation. Welcome back. Thank you to Jim Adams, our new superintendent of schools, for visiting with us today. We are about to go on our Around the Clock tour. As always, there's some great things going on here in Ashland. The first thing we want to show you was a meeting held at the Ashland Public Library. It was to discuss the land transfer between Framingham State and DCR. So here's a clip and here's some more information.
I'm Carl Hackinson, and I'm an associate professor at Framingham State University. I also serve as the Sustainable Policies Coordinator, and we're here this evening to discuss the transfer of the property around the Brackett and Stearns Reservoir, Reservoirs 1 and 2, from the Department of Conservation and Recreation to Framingham State University. So about a little over a year ago, the Department of Conservation and Recreation contacted the university about the possibility of taking over the land around the Brackett and Stearns Reservoir, sometimes known as Reservoirs 1 and 2. These bodies of water were no longer used for drinking water, and the land surrounding it was no longer consistent with their mission. And they were looking for another state agency to take over the jurisdiction of this land. We had several meetings at the university of whether this served the university's best interest, which was our initial goal. We had meetings at the administrative level and at the faculty level, and it was determined overwhelmingly that it would serve an academic need at the university. And so we decided to further investigate what the options would be and what would be involved. And there is a lot involved.
Thank you, Matt, for going out and speaking to the people about this issue, and I'm sure there'll be more to come in the future, so please do some research if you're interested in what's going on with that land transfer. The next thing that we got to go see was the talent show that happened at the rec department. So the rec department has their ARC camp, Ashland Recreation Center camp. It's run by Kelly Rund, and they finish up the season by doing a talent show. So let's go enjoy some of the talents of some of our Ashland youth.
When the music's over, just take me home. Don't keep me waiting. This night is fading.
I guess you should have known. I guess you should have known that I would talk.
Give me all you got, don't hold back.
go from one talent show that has Ashland youth, and we're going to go to a preview of a car show that will be coming here to Ashland on September 20th. This is the second year for the car show. It's being held at Kitty Fenwall, and we were able to get a preview of some of the cars that they're going to be showing there, and who knows, they may even have some local cars coming as well. So take a look at these great cars and get ready for the car show.
Let people know it's on the grass parking. We can see the field here. I don't know if you can show the picture of the field here, but we got plenty of room for 300 cars to park on the grass. We got beautiful trees here. It's just a fun event and a nice atmosphere too.
That's the important part. Now, both of you talked about how this coincides with Ashland Day, and I know you both talked about just another quick word and what it means to have an event like this and coincides with Ashland Day.
Oh, it just makes a full day for the families and individuals. It's a full day, one-stop shopping. Like you just stop and full day of fun. So.
That's the important part. And just a quick word on how Kitty Fenwall has helped support the show and everything else you're trying to do.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. The management at Kitty Fenwall has been outstanding as far as supporting our whole Relay for Life team here, and also even the landlord. Kitty Fenwall doesn't own this land. There's a landlord that we pay rent to, and matter of fact, he's got a wife that was impacted by cancer, and he's basically said, Pete, do whatever you need to do. So just like to thank the management at Kitty Fenwall, as well as the landlord that's helped us make this event go.
And if you like seeing cars like this, want to see tons more, September 20th, right here, Kitty Fenwall, the front lawn, it'll be a sight to see. Thanks, guys.
Hopefully there were some interesting cars that you got to see and it piques your interest and you're ready to go see those cars live and in person on September 20th at the Kitty Fenwall Car Show. Stop at the car show first and then go to Ashland Day on that same day. Well, hard to believe, but summer is wrapping up. We are filming this on August 15th and we're getting ready for some of our last summer concerts. And we were able to get some footage of some of the summer concerts that happen. They're always a great way to spend the summer evening, Tuesday nights at Stone Park. One more left, so maybe you'll catch it depending on when you're catching this show. But here's some footage of some of the summer concerts.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rain came down in the hollow, playing a new game.
Well, those are some of the great things that have happened in the past couple of weeks and past couple of months. And as we get ready to wind up the summer, there's some great things to look forward to. Okay, maybe not so great for some, but the first day of school will be August 26th. The students, those buses will be rolling, so please be aware of that. Teachers will be going back on 8/25 under the direction of our new superintendent, Jim Adams. And I think many people are looking forward to that. After that, we have Labor Day weekend, and at the Farmers Market, there's always some great events going on, and they're going to be having Lobster Fest. Lobster and corn was going to be cooked and available to purchase and eat and just enjoy, and I'm sure there'll be some great music, as there always has been. Dog Day was a great success back on August 9th. The other things that are coming up is, as I talked about, the Ashland Day on 9/20, so September 20th, at the same day as the car show. Our next selectmen's meeting is currently scheduled for September 3rd, which is that Wednesday after Labor Day weekend. We may throw in another one on August 27th, because as we announced earlier in the show, Mark Jewett, one of our selectmen, had to step down. He and his wife are selling their house here in town. And unfortunately, you do have to be a resident to be on the Board of Selectmen. So we will miss Mark. So we may have a discussion on August 27th and possibly have an election. We're not sure yet. We may stay with just 4 board members, or we may decide to have an election for that 5th spot. So those are some great things coming up. I want to thank Joe Mignani for filling in as my guest co-host for Mark. You might be seeing more of Joe, as Mark has sold, as we said, he's selling and might not be as much in town, but we'll see. We're hoping to have Mark back at some point. So we might see Joe again. I also want to thank Tony Schiavi, our town manager, for coming in and updating us on some of the great initiatives that he and Mike Herbert, the assistant town manager, have going on and all the great work that they're doing with many departments here in town, and just looking for some great cost savings, looking at internal costs before we go and try to do what else we need to do to raise revenue. And then thank you to Jim Adams, our new superintendent, for coming in and letting us know what he's looking to do in working with the schools and getting to know the personnel. And I think the schools will be in good hands with Jim. So I want to thank you, our viewing audience, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this show. If you ever have some feedback, or if you ever would like to tell some things that you'd like seen on the show, please send your emails to ashlandaroundtheclock@gmail.com. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll see you in September.
Goods, door ships, all your friends, they had your goods right inside.
All right, we're here with Pete and Ed here in the Kitty Fenwell lawn in front of some beautiful vehicles, and you got an upcoming car show. Could you just please tell us when and where it is?
Yeah, the car show will be held on September 20th. The extended forecast I hear is supposed to be a beautiful day. If it's not, we've got a rain date of September 27th, and we're expecting to have a great turnout this year.
That's good. Now, the sign in front of us says it benefits the American Cancer Society. Could you go into a little how it benefits it?
Sure. About 5 years ago, Kitty Fenwell got a group of people together and decided to create a Relay for Life team, which is all about raising money for American Cancer Society. And actually, over the past 5 years, the company has done different events throughout the year to raise money. We have a golf tournament that we do, and this will be our second annual car show. And in the 5 years, we've raised a little over $100,000. So we're hoping to make this a big fundraising event, and hope everybody has a lot of fun.
That's important. We'll switch to the other side now. What kind of vehicles are you expecting this year?
This year is basically we're going to have a stock antique cars. We're going to have modified antique cars. We're going to have modified cars with including dragsters, stock cars, motorcycles. We have all different types of classes this year. It's going to be, we're expecting and hoping that we're going to have over 250 to 300 cars this year.
Wow, now there are awards for the different classes of vehicles?
Multiple awards depending on the class.
Oh. Now, this is your second car show. How do you expect the show to go?
If the weather holds out and when we coincide with Ashland Day, this should be a great turnout. Where Ashland Day is only a block away from here, people can walk between the two. I think it'll be it's going to be a great venue with the music, food over here too, just like at Ashland Day. Should be a lot of fun.
That's the important part. Fun. Now, he mentioned some of the music and entertainment. What can we look forward to at the show?
Well, actually, we're trying to make this a fun event, not only for people that are bringing cars, but just for people to come down and enjoy some of these cars, as you can see in the background in here. And we have a live band that's coming down that's called the Cartones, and we also have a DJ. And this Cartones group is unbelievable. They play all 60s, 70s type music, car type music, and also a DJ. But the key thing I also remember is these people are donating their time. And what I want to say is every single piece of money that we raise at this event is going to American Cancer Society. Any of the cost is being covered by either people donating it or by the company donating some money. We're not taking a penny out of the proceeds that we're raising for money on this thing.
That's great to hear. Now, when I come to car shows, I love to look at the cars, obviously, but I love to eat the food because there's got to be a variety of food. Can people expect any food here?
Yep, we're gonna have vendors in here selling hamburgers, hot dogs, pretzels, lemonade, pizza. So we'll have a vast variety of type food for everybody to enjoy. Because again, like Ed was saying, it's a family event. We have Ashland Day right down the street, which is a stroke of luck how that happened. And so we're hoping to have a lot of foot traffic.
That's important. Obviously, the foot traffic is important. I've seen a lot of articles in the Metro West News, and I was just wondering if you could speak to how that's been working out.
Actually, I think as Ed was saying, we're expecting 250 to 300 cars here, and it all grows by word of mouth. We had about 70 cars here last year. That was our first year. We didn't know what we were doing. It's the first time doing it. That's why I recruited Ed over here to help in on this thing. He's got a lot of contacts, and he's been of great help. And we're advertising all over the place. You mentioned the Metro West News. There's been a couple articles in the Metro West News about the car show. So I'm expecting some big numbers.
It's good to hear. And he was talking about recruiting you to help out with this. What are some of the challenges that come with making a car show like this?
Well, let's go back. Me and Peter go back to about 3 or 4 years old. And when Peter called me, and I live here in Ashland, my business is in Sherman, when Peter called me and asked help for American Cancer Society, I said, sure. So I've been contacting everyone I know with old cars, different groups. I have a lot of friends that are racers. They're getting their groups together. They're actually going to bring race cars down here and trailers and stuff. So we're going to have a real collection of different cars. And so it's just been putting the word of mouth out. We hit a lot of the vendors. A lot of my vendors I use for automotive. All of them, once they hear American Cancer Society, they're all stepping up to the plate and they're all donating or giving money. It's everyone's kind of thrilled about it, and a lot of them are coming too. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's good to hear. Now, how does someone, if they wanted to register their car, how could they go about doing that?
Well, you can do it online, and I'm not sure the website.
Actually, what's going to be, we're going to have flyers all over the place, and there'll be registration forms on the flyers. A lot of the local restaurants around here will be having flyers up in there, so we're going to have stuff all over the place, so people should be able to find a registration form. The other thing is that you can also come at the day of the event and register, and we know people don't like to wait in line registering. We're going to have a group of people to get the cars coming through. What we found in the past is it seems people don't like to pre-register. They want to see what the weather's going to be like. So it's a lot coming the day of the show. And we've got a process in place here that will keep the cars moving in. And the other thing I want to do is let people know it's on the grass parking. We can see the field here. I don't know if you can show the picture of the field here, but we got plenty of room for 300 cars to park on the grass. We got beautiful trees here. It's just a fun event and a nice atmosphere too.
That's the important part. Now, both of you talked about how this coincides with Ashland Day, and I know you both talked about just another quick word and what it means to have an event like this and coincides with Ashland Day.
Oh, it just makes a full day for the families and individuals. It's a full day, one-stop shopping. Like you just stop and full day of fun. So.
That's the important part. And just a quick word on how Kitty Fenwell has helped support the show and everything else you're trying to do.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. The management at Kitty Fenwell has been outstanding as far as supporting our whole Relay for Life team here. And also, even the landlord. Kitty Fenwell doesn't own this land. It's a landlord that we pay rent to. And matter of fact, he's got a wife that was impacted by cancer, and he's basically said, Pete, do whatever you need to do. So just like to thank the management at Kitty Fenwell, and as well as the landlord that's helped us make this event go.
And if you like seeing cars like this, want to see tons more, September 20th, right here, Kitty Fenwell, the front lawn, it'll be a sight to see. Thanks, guys.